This is the Yankees POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the New York Yankees. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
It was almost an unforgettable night for all the wrong reasons. Instead, an all-time comeback for the Bombers tonight from 5-0 down to a 6-5 win in 10. And we'll fondly remember tonight with a smile instead. As we said, it was 5-0 Seattle at one point, and the Yanks win it in 10, 6-5. How about this? Bryan Woo, starter for Seattle, who, by the way, is an all-star this year, carried a no-hitter into the 8th inning before Jazz broke it up with a clean single. Several innings later, the comeback complete, thanks to an Aaron Judge walk-off sac fly and a heck of a slide from Anthony Volpe at home. And again, 6-5, the final score as the Yanks complete the comeback, sweep the Mariners, and have now won 4 in a row. Hello, everybody. I'm Jay Berman. If you're a New Yorker, you might recognize my work. If not, welcome aboard. I've spent more than 2 decades in the biz, everything from TV to web to radio. Again, glad to have you on board. Please follow me on X as well, at Jay Berman, Jayberman. Welcome to the Locked On Yankees postcast, both on the Locked On Yankees YouTube channel and the Locked On Yankees podcast feed. The postcast gives you a place to chat after every game. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Before we begin, let's let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your very first purchase.
This is what you'll be talking about.
All right, what we're talking about tonight is obviously a fabulous comeback for the Yankees. In fact, it felt like a loss for the better part of 3 hours until it wasn't, right up until the very end. The Yankees, of course, did not grab a hit until the 8th inning. In fact, Bryan Woo, who, as we said, is going to the All-Star game, walked the very first 2 batters he faced, Dominguez and Grisham, in the bottom of the first inning, and you figured, oh, it's going to be a long night for him. Incorrect. He would then retire the next 20 Yankees in a row, 20, before Jazz's single in the 8th inning. Also worthy of mention, Woo had never pitched more than 7 innings in his career. His career high was 100 pitches before tonight. He threw 103, obviously, after the single. Perhaps some air let out of the balloon, but still a career high, 103 pitches. And as we said, it seemed like really for the better part of this game, we were doing a postmortem, if you will, one in which the Yankees lose. But instead of it, because of the good work by the bullpen, with one minor exception, obviously that was Clayton Beeter, but the bullpen kept things close, allowed the Yankees to chip away. They scored 3 in the 8th. Obviously, the Stanton pinch hit home run was huge. 2 in the 9th on the Austin Wells game-tying single, and then obviously the sac fly in the bottom of the 10th. So 3 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th, 1 in the 10th. And again, the Yanks win it 6-5. As we said for Woo, he walked the very first 2 batters he faced and then retired 20 in a row. What's getting lost in all this is obviously another solid performance from Marcus Stroman. 5 innings, 2 earned. So he's now started 3 games since his return. He has gone 5 innings in all 3 of them through 90 pitches today. Now, his season ERA is ugly, still over 6. However, he's keeping the Yankees in the game. Now, Beeter gives up the 3-run shot to Polanco on an 0-2 pitch in the 7th inning, and you figured that was it. Yanks hadn't had a hit. It was only 2-0, but at that point, the 3-run shot made it 5-0, and it again emptied some seats, sent some people to the Major Deegan. But regardless, the Yankees, as we said, were in position with a spotty Seattle bullpen to at least get it close, get it within 1 swing, which is exactly what they did in the 9th inning, allowing Austin Wells, who, by the way, drove in 3 tonight, to come in, into a wonderful, wonderful piece of base hitting, and the clean single into right field, as we said, plated 2, and it made a winner out of Devin Williams, who again was brilliant. Williams throws the 10th with the ghost runner, does not allow a run. In fact, it cost him 7 pitches, and Williams got out of the 10th inning. And at that point, when you're the home team in extra innings and the game is still tied and you've got the ghost runner, especially a quick one in Anthony Volpe, you knew the Yankees were going to win it at that point in time. And obviously, getting through on Andres Munoz in the 9th inning was the key. Now, believe it or not, he blew his 6th save of the season, but he too is an all-star. In fact, one of the best closers in the game. His ERA after the damage tonight, 1.54. So that'll give you an idea of how good of a season Munoz is having. But again, the focus was on Woo, who was unhittable, quite literally unhittable for the better part of 2.5 hours. 7 1/3 for Woo, 2 earned, 2 walks, 5 Ks, as we said, through 103 pitches. Does not figure in the decision. Would have been the winning pitcher had Munoz locked down the save in the 9th, but instead it goes to the other side, and that's Devin Williams, who is now 3-3. As for Clayton Beeter, 2 innings, 3 earned. That 3-run home run to Jorge Polanco on an 0-2 pitch seemed like the dagger. It really seemed like the crusher. But again, the Yanks got through it. Giancarlo Stanton, as a pinch hitter before tonight, was 5 for 48. Amazing. He's been in the big leagues for a long time, more than a decade. He's only had 48 at bats as a pinch hitter, because obviously he's not a pinch hitter. And he had never homered as a pinch hitter until tonight. Now, you figured that the Yankees were still out of reach. Well, they proved that wrong in the 9th inning. Stanton's first career pinch hit home run. As we said, he was 5 for 48. The Polanco home run was on an 0-2 pitch. Just want to pull your hair out for Beeter, who, by the way, threw 40 pitches through the 6th and the 7th inning, figuring that it probably wouldn't be coming in a Yankee win, because at that point it was 5-0. However, Brubaker and Hamilton and Williams all did their job, combining to allow just 1 hit while striking out 4, and obviously not allowing a run. Brubaker threw an inning, 8 pitches. Ian Hamilton an inning, 15 pitches. Devin Williams an inning, 7 pitches. So those 3 pitchers in 3 innings through 30 pitches, 30, retiring the Mariners without them scoring a run, which is the key. And again, the Yanks win really an amazing game from the sac fly with the amazing two-parter. One, it's an amazing slide by Anthony Volpe, but I'm also impressed with the home plate up Nick Lentz, who got the call right. Now, obviously, it was clear it would have been reversed had it been called incorrectly, because it was obviously safe. But kudos to Nick Lentz. That was not an easy call, and he was right on top of it in perfect spot to get the job done. Now, the Yanks are just 2-6 in extra innings. Problem is, both those wins are coming at home, so all the losses coming in extra innings on the road. That's not where the Yanks have made their hay. Their 4th straight win for the first time since May. Folks, we're in July. And again, the Yanks scored at least 5 runs. That's now 9 straight games where the Yanks have scored at least 5 runs. Not a single Yankee had more than 1 hit. In fact, they only collected 6. Grisham had a hit. Bellinger, Chisolm, Rice, Wells, and Giancarlo Stanton. And speaking of Bellinger, his single in the 9th inning, which kept the rally going, extended his hitting streak to 15 games. What's interesting is, and I'd forgotten about it, he now has 2 15-game hitting streaks this season. He's the first Yankee to do that since Derek Jeter. Amazing stuff. The Yanks' first win in nearly 10 years when they were trailing 5-0. The last time they won a game when they were trailing 5-0, 2016 against the Texas Rangers. All right, 6-5, the final score. Yanks are now 52-41, 11 games above 500. Blue Jays didn't play tonight, so the Yanks pick up a game or a half game on the Blue Jays. They also pick up a half game on the Rays, who had a lead in Boston. But the Red Sox come from behind them. Don't look now, but the Red Sox have won 7 in a row. All that despite trading away their best hitter in Rafael Devers several weeks ago. And believe it or not, the Red Sox are now in a playoff position. So the much maligned AL East, man, what a rugged division it has become. And again, the Rays lose to the Red Sox, who are suddenly hot, and the Blue Jays didn't play. So the Yanks pick up a half game on the Blue Jays and a full game on the Rays. All right, when we come back, we have more injury news to update you on. Unfortunately, it's not good. And some great news for this upcoming weekend, or at least next week. We'll tell you exactly what we mean coming up on the other side. All right, have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Oh, maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. Well, that's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, up next is Open Phone. If you're running a business, you know that every missed call is money left on the table. Think about the last time you had an urgent need, maybe for a plumber or a service provider. If the first person didn't answer, did you wait? Probably not. You moved on, and that's why you need Open Phone. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system built to streamline and scale your customer communications, all from an app on your phone or computer. Open Phone lets me manage business calls and texts from a single app. The shared inbox feature is a game changer. Your team can jump into any conversation instantly without missing a beat. And their AI agent handles after-hours calls, answers common questions, and captures leads so you never miss a customer. OpenPhone is offering my listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. That's openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you have existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra cost. OpenPhone, no missed calls, no missed customers. All right, we are back, and without further ado,
this is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Plenty of love to go around to multiple Yankees tonight, but of course, we only get to pick one. It's Austin Wells. Now, was it a game-winning hit? No, it was a game-tying hit with 2 outs in the 9th inning with the bases loaded in a 5-3 game. He got the job done, and again, he's been struggling. In fact, the hit, just the one tonight, means his average is now 227. However, he drove in 3 runs tonight, obviously all 3 huge, and Austin Wells is your player of the game. Jason Dominguez took an offer, as did Aaron Judge, despite the fact that Judge had the game-winning RBI. Again, Marcus Stroman, 5 innings, 2 earned, 2 walks, 3 Ks. Through 90 pitches, there was at least a chance in my mind that Stroman could go further. They went to Beater instead, and that proved to be a costly mistake because he gives up the 3-run homer to Jorge Polanco, again on an 0-2 pitch, which needs to be stressed here. Regardless, it's a huge, huge win. The Yanks have now won 4 in a row. They sweep away the Mariners, and they get the red-hot Cubbies coming in, the highest scoring team in baseball. All right. Yesterday, we knew about DJ LeMahieu, how he was designated for assignment. Today, the Yankees just flat out released him, so he's a free agent. He can play wherever he wants. Clark Schmidt will have his Tommy John surgery tomorrow, Friday, in the city. Jazz Chisolm, how about that? Didn't hit a home run tonight, but he's been red hot of late, and he is joining the home run derby, as he said he wanted to, because all he does is love hitting home runs. Previous Yankee winners, you got to go back. There's been 5 of them, or pardon me, there's been 4 of them. He's trying to become the 5th Yankee to win the home run derby. Here they are: Tino, Giambi, Cano, and obviously Aaron Judge several years back in Miami. As for the probables for the Cubs series, and again, this is a huge, huge series, really, for both sides. Carlos Rodon goes tomorrow night. No word yet on who the Cubs will throw, probably a bullpen game. Max Fried, Matt Boyd on Saturday. Will Warren, Shota Imanaga on Sunday. So again, Rodon, Fried, and Warren for the Yanks. To be announced, Boyd and Imanaga for the Cubbies. All right, thanks for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Also want to mention our partners in crime at Locked On Yankees, Stacey Gotsulias and Brian McKeon. They're the best. Again, Locked On Yanks. So follow, subscribe, and enjoy. 6-5 the final score. An amazing, amazing night. And it almost was an amazing, amazing night for all the wrong reasons. As we said at the top, Yanks were being no-hit into the 8th inning tonight by the All-Star, Bryan Woo. Speaking of All-Stars, Andres Munoz, the All-Star closer of Seattle, didn't look like one tonight. He was roughed up, allowing 2 runs to score in the ninth to tie the game for the Yanks. And again, Woo's an All-Star. Munoz is an All-Star. Obviously, Cal Raleigh is an All-Star, and despite the first home run in the first game of the series, Yanks did a pretty good job holding down Cal Raleigh, who went 0 for 4 tonight, continues to lead the majors in home runs with 36. All right, as we said, the Yanks are 52-41, 29-17 at home, and they pick up a half game on the Blue Jays and a full game on the Rays. Again, Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, Rodon, Fried, and Warren in that order. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then it's the All-Star break, and we can all collect our breath, take a breather, few nights off, right back at it. By the way, the Yankees will be in Atlanta to open the second half of the season next week. Again, 6-5 the final score. We'll see you this weekend. Have a great night, everyone.